Trading Treasures at the Barter Fair, Episode 9. I pulled into the clearing just as the sun was cresting over the ridge, lighting up a small sea of vans, RVs, and tents. The annual barter fair was in full swing, and you could feel the energy buzzing in the air. People milled about between makeshift stalls, displaying everything from hand-knit scarves to solar panels. Sadie trotted beside me, her tail wagging as she sniffed at the ground. "What do you think, girl?" I asked, patting her head. "Think we'll find something good?" I didn't have much to trade, a few pieces of homemade jewelry, some canned goods, and an old camp stove I hadn't used in ages. But that was the beauty of a barter fair. It wasn't about money, it was about swapping stories, sharing resources, and finding treasures in the most unexpected places. I set up my little table near the edge of the fair, laying out my modest offerings. Within minutes, people began to wander over. A woman with a bright scarf tied around her head admired one of my necklaces, a simple silver chain with a turquoise pendant. "Did you make this?" she asked, her fingers brushing the stone. "Sure did," I said. "Traded for the turquoise in Arizona a few years back." She smiled and offered me a jar of homemade blackberry jam in return. "Picked and canned them myself last summer." "Deal," I said, tucking the jar into my bag. As the morning wore on, I found myself wandering from stall to stall, marveling at the creativity and resourcefulness on display. A young artist painted tiny landscapes on river stones, while a retired engineer had a table full of gadgets he'd repaired. Battery chargers, water pumps, even a small wind turbine. At one stall, I spotted a set of cast-iron skillets that looked like they'd seen better days but still had life left in them. The man behind the table, a bearded fellow named Hank, waved me over. "Looking for something to cook up a feast?" he asked with a grin. "Maybe," I said. "What are you looking to trade?" Hank eyed the old camp stove I'd brought. "How about we swap? I've been meaning to upgrade mine anyway." We shook on it, and I left with the skillets tucked under my arm, already imagining the meals I'd make on them. By midday, the fair had turned into a lively gathering, with music playing and people sharing food and drinks. Sadie and I stopped at a stall where a young couple was handing out fresh-baked bread in exchange for stories. "All we ask," the woman said, "is that you tell us a favorite memory from the road." I thought for a moment, then told them about the time Sadie and I stumbled upon a hidden hot spring in the Nevada desert. We'd soaked under the stars, the steam rising around us like a dream. "That's worth a whole loaf," the man said, handing me a warm, crusty round of bread. As the day wound down, I returned to my stall to find a young woman examining my last piece of jewelry, a bracelet woven with leather and beads. "It's beautiful," she said. "I don't have much, but would you trade it for this?" She held out a small sketchbook, its pages filled with intricate pencil drawings of landscapes and animals. I flipped through the book, stunned by the detail and emotion in her work. "Absolutely," I said, handing her the bracelet. Later, as I packed up Miss Daisy, I flipped through the sketchbook again. Each drawing felt like a tiny window into the artist's soul, and I couldn't help but feel grateful for the connection we'd shared, however brief. The barter fair wasn't just about trading things, it was about exchanging pieces of ourselves. Every jar of jam, every skillet, every story was a reminder that this nomadic life isn't lived alone. It's built on moments like these where we come together to share what we have and leave a little richer in spirit.